Me, the breeze. In time she learned early that not everything needs an answer. Some things just exist, like the wind passing between buildings, or the light changing its hue as the day begins to say goodbye. There are feelings that don't ask for explanation, only for space to breathe. That afternoon she stayed right there, sitting on the living room floor, back against the cold wall, legs folded without haste. The apartment was silent, but not empty. The kind of silence that doesn't weigh heavy, silence that embraces. The clock kept marking time with relentless precision, but she no longer felt obliged to obey its hands. Over the years, she had learned that inner time doesn't move at the same rhythm as the world's time. The city breathed in the distance. The faint sound of cars' voices mingling in the background, hurried steps on the sidewalk. Everything was happening in another layer of reality. Inside her, there was only an interval. An open space where thoughts could come and go without causing turbulence. She watched the late afternoon light sliding across the walls, changing colors slowly. Gold, orange, then nearly blue. The day was saying goodbye gently, like someone who doesn't want to disturb, and she accompanied it. She thought of how many versions of herself had passed through that same floor. The woman who believed in promises that were too long. The one who mistook intensity for love. The one who molded herself to fit the other. The one who stayed when she should have left. The one who left before being left behind. None of those versions were wrong. They all did what they could with what they knew at that moment. Maturity, she discovered, is not erasing the past. It's learning to look at it without resentment. The breeze entered the window without asking permission, made the curtains move slowly, touched her face with the delicacy of something that already knew her. She closed her eyes, not to escape the world, but to feel it better. There was something familiar in that invisible gesture. Before, emptiness used to scream. Today, it just breathed. She realized that some absences stopped hurting not because they were replaced, but because they were understood. What once seemed like loss now seemed like passage. Then, she remembered him. It's not with urgent longing, nor with a desire for return. It was a tranquil memory, almost grateful. He was no longer a wound, nor a regret. It was memory in a serene state. A chapter that didn't need to be reread, but also didn't need to be forgotten. They never promised eternity. Maybe that's why it was true. He liked silence. Not the awkward kind, but the kind that happens when two people don't have to prove anything to each other. Sometimes he sat nearby, sometimes far away. There was a strange peace in not having to explain herself. It took her a while to understand that love isn't always a wildfire. Sometimes it's an open window. Nights with him were simple. A cheap bottle of wine shared without ceremony. Soft music playing in the background. Conversations that started with nothing and ended with everything. He had a habit of looking at the sky as if searching for something that had no name. Some questions don't want a solution, he would say. Just company. She never answered out loud. She just stayed. Today, alone in that late afternoon, she realized she had learned that some pains don't ask for a cure. Some stories don't ask for a continuation. Some presences fulfill their role just by passing through. The city began to light its lights. She got up slowly and went to the window. Down below, lives followed their course. People coming, going, trying, always trying. She smiled without realizing it. For a long time, she believed she needed to arrive somewhere. That happiness was a destination. A final point. Definitive place. Today she understood differently. Happiness is an interval. It's small moments when the heart doesn't feel heavy, when the world slows down, when the soul finds its own rhythm. The breeze returned a bit stronger now. Yeah, as if it wanted to remind her of something. She took a deep breath, because she didn't miss someone. She felt the presence of herself. That was new. For years, to love meant disappearing a little, to adjust, to yield, to silence important parts of who she was to maintain the bond. Today she knew, to love is not to lose yourself. It is to remain, she thought of. The times she tried to fit where there was no space. Of conversations swallowed. Of gestures held back. Of desires postponed so as not to disturb. No more of that today. Today she knew that true love doesn't demand haste, proof, or promise. It happens when there is space, when there is shared silence, when there is respect for the other's internal time. like the breeze, like dusk, like the peace that arrives when we stop fighting against what is. She turned off the living room lights, left only the window open. Some nights don't ask for human company, they ask for inner presence. She sat on the floor again, now closer to the window, watched the sky darken. The stars began to appear timidly, one by one. She realized she no longer felt urgency. She didn't need to solve everything that night. She didn't need to understand every past choice. She didn't need to predict the future. Being there was enough. She thought about how time had changed her way of loving. Before, she sought intensity. Now she sought truth. Before, she wanted to be chosen. Now, she chose herself without guilt. That didn't make her less available to love. It made her whole. The breeze touched her face again. She smiled. Perhaps to love was this: knowing how to be without emptiness, knowing how to wait without anxiety, knowing how to be without needing to escape. She didn't know if someone would re-enter her life. She didn't make plans. But she knew that if someone did enter, they would have to be like the breeze, without invasion, without demands, without haste. Someone who knew how to stay. The night progressed. She remained there, listening to the distant sounds of the city, feeling her own body, noticing thoughts coming and going like clouds. For the first time in a long while, there was no inner conflict. There was acceptance, and that was freedom. The breeze stayed too. Not as a promise, not as an answer, just as a presence. And that night, she slept in peace. Not because everything was resolved, but because finally, she was whole. And that was enough. Subscribe to the channel and receive more videos like this. Thank you for watching.